San Diego Padres, that's right. They got an 83 over-under, and they don't even have Nolan Arenado. They don't have Mookie Betts. Sorry, but they may have somebody. I don't know. This team has been loaded with prospects for the last couple of years, and now some of them are actually coming aboard. I like the fact that Austin Hedges now has Francisco Mejia behind the plate on a full-time basis. Together, I think they're pretty good. I saw Mejia play third base in the Arizona Fall League. Just a good line drive hitter. I mean, the guy is just a good line drive hitter. I'm saying Mejia's going to hit about 280 with 15 homers. Not bad for a catcher. He'll be still splitting time with Hedges. They tried him at third. They tried him in the outfield. But they're going to stick with him. Eric Hosmer. Holy cow. I'll say I got a gut feeling about 30-year-old Eric Hosmer. It's a gut feeling. He may never have hit 25 home runs in his career. He didn't do it in 2019. He even elevated the ball more than ever. But I think he'll hit about 270. I think I'll hit you 20 to 25 and get you 90 RBIs. Now, say what you want. There's a price for that kind of guy, which is not too bad if you want to put your money there at first base. The first baseman of substance usually go for big bucks. If you'd like to, or high in the draft, I equate dollars with draft positions. So, don't think I'm just talking about the auction values here. So to me, 270, 275, 20 to 25. He's 6'4", 230. He could do it if he could do it if all the things go right. At second base, they got Jurickson Profar, and hard to look. He's the guy that I said when a rookie is a rookie is a rookie. When Jurickson Profar, if you want to compare him to a new car. When he was in the showroom before they called him up, his value was about maybe $30,000. But if as soon as you drive the car, $30,000 car out of the dealership, he goes down to $25,000. That's what happened with Profar, and now he's definitely a used car. But can he respond to 240? 15 to 20 home runs and maybe 10 stolen bases. Signed a one-year deal with the Padres. Look, it's been a lot about health. Hasn't been healthy back-to-back seasons, but he appeared in 285 games over the last 2 years. So look, he's 26 years old. He hit 218, but he hit 254 in his final year with Texas. So I'm just saying now he's going to be on a very good team. Profar could hit you 240, 18, 20 home runs, and maybe 10 stolen bases, and that is not terrible for a fill-in kind of a player. At shortstop, there you go, Fernando Tatis, don't have to tell you. Manny Machado at third, two superstars. And if they both have their years, it could be spectacular. In left field, they got Tommy Pham, and Tommy Pham's a very good fantasy player. And Tommy Pham could be very, if he adjusts well to this ballpark, he could do pretty well. I'm thinking Tommy Pham to hit about 280. Don't forget he had the elbow last year. We agreed to a roughly $8 million contract. 280, 23, 24, 25 home runs, and most important, 20 or more stolen bases. Okay, 2 years in a row he's been 20-20. Only one of only 9 batters to achieve that feat in 2018, 2019. Okay, but look, his playing time has increased steady every year. He topped out at 145 games, 650 something plate appearances. So he doesn't get a lot of respect. He's 31 years old. Can he continue with the stolen bases? That's the key. Most people I talk to say, yes, he can. So that's Tommy Pham in the outfield. Manny Margot in center field. Wow. It's it's almost like they've tried to pawn him off. There are some teams that didn't want him. Then there are some teams that asked for him and they wouldn't trade him. Look, Manny Margot, he's got he's got a battle with Trent Grisham. And on the Padres team, with Mejia being a switch hitter, Profar being a switch hitter, Eric Hosmer and Trent Grisham, Josh Naylor is also a left-handed hitter, so is Franchi Cordero. But Margot, it's really tough. He's a very risky player to take only because there are so many outfielders right now. Could sort out, as they still could be in the market for Mr. Betts. 255, 15 homers, 15 to 20 stolen bases. Not a bad player. I mean, for the value he's going to go for, and he could even do better if he gets hot. He's had as many as almost 500 plate appearances. Last year he had only 400. So, and he's only 25 years old. Manny Margot is only 25 years old. And just you got to watch Trent Grisham and Manny Margot in the spring. For Trent Grisham, 245, 15 homers, 5 stolen bases. He was acquired from the Brewers along with Zach Davies in exchange for Eric Lauer and Luis Urias. So, and he wasn't even a prospect when 2019 started. But at the end of the season, he was a pretty key player until he made a big error. But we won't even talk about that. That doesn't have anything to do with anything. So he didn't run as frequently last year as he has done in the minor leagues. He's got a good eye. Had a 376 on-base percentage in the minor leagues. But he can run. He's had minor league seasons of 37 stolen bases, 20 stolen bases. So keep an eye out for him. I can't tell you he's going to play over Margot. Nobody can say. But if he does have that hot spring training, you got to understand who Trent Grisham is. Keep it going. Do I talk about Will Myers or do I just forget about him? I don't know. They're trying to unload Will Myers desperately. Not necessarily because he's such a bad player. It's just that his contract is debilitating for this ball club. But what can we say about Will Myers? Well, he lost his first base eligibility. He's only an outfielder now, and that brings him down to earth. 245, 20 home runs, 15 stolen bases. Look, you're not going to get much more out of Will Myers. He just had 490 plate appearances in 155 games. He didn't play a lot of innings in any of the games he played. Okay, he had 63 games with fewer than 3 plate appearances, 37 of which were 1 or less. So he was lifted early or even used as a pinch hitter. That's why he displays as many games as he does. So I think this year, I will tell you right now, anybody in Labor and Tout Wars, I am off Will Myers. Craig Mish, thank you very much. Moving right along, outside of Will Myers, the pitching staff, Franchi Cordero could get a chance. Now, Josh Naylor I saw, and he's being billed as, one of these heavy guys who can't field and can't. No, he's like John Kruk. He could run. He could steal you some bases. Not a bad defensive player. Josh Naylor could be my number 1 surprise pick this year. Surprise. Not going to be a star, but he's going to be a player that's going to be fantasy relevant. Kirby Yates is the closer. There's no doubt about it. That's pretty well set. I love Pomerantz on this team. Michael Baez, the big kid, he could really do something. But Chris Paddock, Joey Lucchesi, Denelson Lamet, those are the 3 guys. Garrett Richards and Zach Davies. For Garrett Richards, injured last year. Garrett Richards could be a big surprise this year. Now, here's what I'm predicting for Garrett Richards. All right, former Angel who was injured. Probably too much. Now he's on San Diego in that good ballpark. A 3.9 ERA, a 1.3 WHIP. How many strikeouts depending upon last year? He had something like he gets about a strikeout an inning, maybe a little bit more. So that'll depend. I mean, back in 2015, he threw 200 innings, had 176 strikeouts, but in prior years, he was right there. So figure about 8 strikeouts per 9 innings. Not terrible. So that's Garrett Richards. Nothing to get crazy about, okay? But that's Garrett Richards. Now, as far as Chris Paddock, we know Delelson Lamet should be back in there, racking up the strikeouts. We wonder what they're trying to pawn off Cal Quantrill, which makes me believe that Cal Quantrill is probably not the player that we would hope him to be. The pitcher that I saw that's stardom is Mackenzie Gore, a legit 4-pitch pitcher, top of the rotation kind of guy. You all know about him, the left-hander, 6'3", 190, 21 years old. Fastball sits around 94, 95 on any given night. He can touch 97 through 100. A slider and a curveball consistently, and he throws for strikes. Luis Patino, explosive starting pitcher. He's got a great arm. He's got everything you want, and he's only 20 years old. Right behind Mackenzie Gore in the system is Patino, but he's only 19, so don't expect him to do anything this year. Taylor Trammell, elite athlete, above average recognition of the strike zone. So is he still on this team, by the way? Yeah, Taylor Trammell. C.J. Abrams, Luis Capusano. Luis Capusano. Now he's a catcher, but probably nowhere to go. Probably nowhere to go. But I will say that you got to know who he is, okay? Absolutely. Got to know who he is. His name is Capusano. I'm getting action in the chat room, okay? Anyway, he's a nice-looking catcher. The other guys you got to take a look at. Capusano, he's a squatty little. He's about 5'10", 220 pounds, 21 years old. He's a two-way catching prospect. Nobody else that I'm telling. Adrian Morejon is another left-handed pitcher. He's young, he's polished, but he's been injured quite a bit. So don't expect him to be up this year. The Michael Baez I talked about, he's the big 6'8" pitcher who, imposing 3 pitches, wouldn't shock me if he somehow makes it into the rotation. They got him buried in the bullpen. He only pitched relief last year, and he had very good success in Double-A. So there's been talk about trading Kirby Yates and maybe making Baez the shortstop, the closer, Michael Baez. That's it for the San Diego team. They are 10-1 to win the division, 50-1 to win the World Series. But the bet I'm doing is over 83 for the San Diego Padres. Over 83. San Diego Padres.